It's Monday, and you guys know the drill. It is a Monday Night Live show on cricket.com with me, Apni Shekde, and as you can see, Akshay Kumaraswamy and Nikhil Popar. And we're going to talk everything about the ODI World Cup and, of course, the IPL and lots more in this special one. And I say special one because, look, we've lived up to the tag of getting guests on the show. In the nick of time, there is a Sri Lankan fan patiently waiting for us who will hold on to in just a bit. But, boys, how are we this Monday evening? Nikhil, I'll start with you. Great win yesterday for India, literally hitting the World Cup for the six, man. Insane, 6 on 6.
Yeah, I'm still stuck at that Ben Stokes wicket. Uh, I think it probably sums up both sides very well so far in the World Cup. One is tested finding ways to come back. The other is just stuck at a place, unable to find answers, just relying more on hope than on anything else. So, yeah, I think that there have been a few games. I mean, six of them, but only one game जिसका मैंने highlights बार बार देखा है, and that is the one that happened yesterday. More so because of the manner in which it panned out. So yeah, you couldn't have been in a better place, but yeah, one game at a time.
Yeah, let's see how India go about it. And Akshay, we have to ask the inevitable. India to win this World Cup, let alone undefeated, my friend.
To be honest, I wouldn't mind India losing, giving away one league stage game if that comes. If that's what is required to sort of get us the World Cup. Unlike the Australian team, I don't think I can recollect any other team that's sort of gone unbeaten in the league stage and also ended up winning the World Cup. And knowing how India has been in the knockout stages previously, it does give me the jitters. So I'd rather see them lose right now and just get the trophy home. Yeah, for sure.
India, of course, take on Sri Lanka next, and that'll be a fascinating one. Given the fact that it's happening in Mumbai, we're going to be doing fan camps for that. And remember, get chatty, guys, because I've not done a live show in a while. So, of course, missing all you boys in the comments. Kaushik goes on and say, good evening to you and the rest of the lads as well. Noodle Hacks with Vasant. The try will be back, but late as usual. Got used to it, like England fans getting used to them losing in the WTC. Oh my God. Okay, fine. They're not going to hold back indeed. But we're not going to hold back either right now because we're going to get on that Sri Lankan fan, like I said, and talk to him about not just Sri Lanka, but of course, making part of the chat as well. Let's get Sun on, who, of course, we stumbled upon and we nearly kidnapped in Hyderabad by the first looks of. You remember
I,
that?
I,
We came up.
I remember that. I remember that because the match was done and it was disappointing, and I was so sad walking out, and all of a sudden there's a van comes and three of them come back and say like, "You are a Sri Lankan fan." I was like, oh God, what's happening here?
It was insane. It was pandemonium over there with Pakistan, of
Yes.
course, having the last laugh that night. But in the sun, right now, the Afghanistan game's going on against Sri Lanka. And it doesn't look good. But so far, do you still think this is a World Cup where you guys have had something to say with regards to all the cricket going about?
Yeah, perhaps I would say because after 2015, Sri Lanka has been to many ICC events with less hopes. And so this time, like, if I have to begin, so we just go a couple of years back. The policies changed. The selectors were like so particular about sticking with the team and the captain and the core of the team, and they were building up for this World Cup. So it's been a while to stick to the same 11, and there's a consistency. And this team has won matches and won series, and surprised everyone, from Sri Lankan fans to everybody. So we had a lot of reasons to be hopeful, but at the same time, as Sri Lanka goes to any ICC event, something follows with them with injuries. We already changed three of the main teams, so there are reasons for us to be little bit low. There are reasons for us to be really high.
The other thing which happens with Sri Lanka and ICC events is that they apparently beat England, especially in the ODI World Cup. How much do you enjoy that win in Bangalore, man? Because they were
Uh,
absolutely brilliant. They blew Bazball off the park.
Yes, because something, to be honest, not expected. Because when Sri Lanka went to the 2019 World Cup, we least expected to compete. But little that everybody forgot that Lassit Malinga was there. Even though he was off prime, even though he was in his twilight, but still he was able to do that. Right now, he providing crucial wickets and using the wickets and taking the things and everything. So this time going, and especially I would love to meet them somewhere in Lucknow or somewhere in Chennai or somewhere. But why it's Bangalore? Nobody was expecting. The pitch is like not behaving as a Bangalore pitch at all. So it was really really surprising and so happy. As I wrote on social media also, in the same day after Sri Lanka won the match, you see police all over Colombo because they know that people could have been have drinks, people could have been enjoy the match just to catch the people who drunk themselves. So that's what it means to this nation.
No, 100%. And no wonder everyone back home must be kind of really super happy that day itself. I just want to, of course, ask the boys to come in here and ask in the sun anything that they've seen about Sri Lanka, particularly. I mean, I know they've been plagued with injuries. Even today, Nix, you were kind of going active on the group. I mean, as you always are. Anything which comes to mind when we talk about Sri Lanka right here, right now in this World Cup?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, Innocent, hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully Chamira can get you a wicket in the next over. Let's see if that
Okay.
comes true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I wanted to know your thoughts on, Shanaka as well as a skipper, and what have you seen differently from Kusal Mendes that you feel stands out? Because I feel Shanaka at times has played the waiting game. Again, not his fault because of the injuries, but Kusal Mendes at times I feel is probably just more aggressive in that sense with the bowling. Do you feel the
uh,
same, or how is it?
yeah, because I think it basically falls down to the type of the people they are. Because Shanaga is very nice and very calm in everything. Because I was doing it with commentators in the LPL, and I saw it doesn't matter whether you have a good day in the office or bad day in the office. He patiently meets people, he gives them selfie, photographs, and even the journalist asks some tough questions, he used to smile and answer. So that is nature. Perhaps that, but Kusal Mendes did make a small mistake in the very first game he captained because after restricting Netherlands for like 90 or for like 6 or 7 wickets, and then he let them come back into the game. So that was a very perhaps he learned very quickly from Shanak and Kusal Mendes. Even I saw in LPL. That's actually the considerable period I saw him as a captain. He was very aggressive. His fielding setup was very aggressive. Perhaps he's keeping up with that.
Very fair that.
Interesting indeed. So your voice is just getting slightly muffled in this, and if you, I think the fan is hovering over your head. If you could just like put that off, I think the
Oh,
clarity of the audio will definitely improve. But
right, right.
it's okay. We can
Yeah,
ask Akshay next
yeah.
because it's apparently people are going after Akshay as well in the comments, saying upsets
Not
do
new.
happen in Bengaluru. Ask Akshay. I mean, Akshay, what is the upset that people
I
are
mean, for
referring?
better context too, in the sun, like both me and Avnish, of course, both of us are hardcore RCB fans. We are from Bangalore, so of course,
Oh,
happy to
okay,
see
okay.
yeah, England being defeated. So yeah, they're just taking a dig at us because yeah, I mean, I guess that's a story global cricket fans also know of
I
RCB and
think
IPL.
when it comes to RCG, they have a huge fan following in Sri Lanka. It
Oh,
started with
look at
Kohli.
that!
Yeah, it started with Kohli, but now after RCB take like they have taken Samira and they have taken Hasaranga.
Yeah,
So and Isuru Udana played for a small
yep,
period
yep.
there. So they have huge fan following in Sri Lanka. So you have a lot of friends in Sri Lanka.
Happy to meet them
100%.
for sure because we only have
Yeah.
fans, no trophies in the cabinet to be happy about.
I mean, you're
So
yet to win a trophy. Be very hopeful because it might be next season. Who knows?
That's
this
the
is the
hope, right?
optimism.
Which kills you. That's the hope which kills you. But look, let's jump into, of course, the comments and lots of people wanting to pick your mind in the sun. New relax with us. I'm going on to ask you, what would have been an ideal World Cup for Sri Lanka for you as a Sri Lanka fan in a realistic scenario?
Realistic scenario, if I have to be very, very realistic, Sri Lanka finishes at five or six, fifth or sixth position would be really because then still Sri Lanka will be ahead of Pakistan, Sri Lanka will be ahead of Bangladesh. Because look, Pakistan when coming to the series, they were number one ranked team. But if you take the World Cup, the qualifying scenario and all these things, Bangladesh was at number four. So all these teams are very powerful, and recently Sri Lanka had actually met them. Sri Lanka beat them, and some matches we couldn't win them. So Sri Lanka finishing at 4 or 5 would be really, really very realistic and very optimistic for us. But who knows? Because I mean, World Cup is very weird. So everybody has the right to dream, and perhaps that fourth position, something which a lot of fans in Sri Lanka very, very hopeful about it, and they are just now after these net run rate calculations and everything.
Yeah, I mean, just makes you think, boys. Even the fact that you look at that Australia game, they were 125 for none, and then how they let that kind of powering position decline, and then even against Pakistan as well, getting all those runs, but like not sealing out the win. It's just crazy with regards to that. There is,
Because
of course, some somber news from a Sri Lankan lens coming through right now, of course, and we have to address that because the Sri Lanka super fan, Percy Abysmal, I think he was formerly known as Uncle Percy, passed away earlier today at the age of 87. Now, he was, of course, a regular at the Sri Lankan cricket games for more than, I think, 4 or 5 decades, if my memory serves me right. But more importantly, he gained all his prominence during that 1996 World Cup. And it's fans like him from the Emerald Island who've really kept the flag flying high for Sri Lanka. Indusan, ever met Uncle Percy in all these
I
rugby
have, I
games?
Yeah, I have met him a couple of times, and I've taken a selfie with him, and I have posted in my social media also when I got to know the news because it was very sad, and he was really sick past couple of months, I think. And so many former cricketers, and even Rohit Sharma went and met him because when he was here in Sri Lanka for the Asia Cup. And one funny thing, I don't know how many of you remember after that 2018 Midahas Trophy, is that ugly incident happened between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Entire Sri Lanka, including me, was like rooting for India to win that match. And after the match was done, and Uncle Percy was having the Sri Lankan flag, as he always had the giant flag, and Rohit Sharma was like walking with him and having a lap around the ground, and he was saying thanks for all the support and everything. That's a really, really good moment.
Yeah, I think we did a piece on cricket.com earlier. I think we'll try to fetch that video out and put it on the app. So download the app, of course, and rest in peace, Percy, because absolute legend of the game in terms of being the one ultimate fan indeed. Couple of more questions, and then we'll let Indu sign off. And then, of course, we'll take it into more World Cup chatter, guys. Keep the comments coming through. Like this particular video and subscribe if you're new. We're 37K just recently. So good to see new people in the comments as well. Samar Ahmed, I'll take your question, and Sanjay Papagiri, but we'll start with Rohan Patel. Goes on to ask a simple one in the Shan. What are the upcoming talents in Sri Lanka?
We have a lot of things to be excited and be very hopeful about it from the recent LPL and the domestic season. We saw a lot of, when it comes to batters, we have Nuvinendu Fernando. He was spoken about by Ashwin in his YouTube channel on a particular event. Because Ashwin said, his batting style, or the way that comes is pretty much like Sidman Gill. Perhaps not to that caliber, but something is there in similarity. There is Lassit Krustule, there is Sevon Daniel. There's so many youngsters who are coming in the way. And when it comes to bowling, we know that there's now Madhusankar is bowling, Madhusan is there, and we know this guy from Jaffna, Vyas Scott. He's very exciting. He made his international debut for Sri Lanka in the Asian Games, and he got wickets also. He's the first cricketer from Jaffna to make it to the national squad, the international debut. So there is a lot of talent around in Sri Lanka, but it's all about forget about we cannot forget about Vellalage because he rocked India, especially in the Asia Cup. So many Indian fans asking about him. So there is a lot of talent in Sri Lanka, and the majority of the Sri Lankan current lineup is also very, very young. So only thing is we need to nurture this talent, look after them, give them the support and all this guidance. I hope we can perhaps we might not be able to reach that golden period or somewhat very competitive and very uh, consistent in the international.
Yeah, let's see how. I mean, there's some fantastic names.
Just one thing.
Go
Sorry,
on.
Avnish. Indusan, if you don't mind the fan, if that could be turned off, because a couple of
Right.
our
So just
said
a minute,
we
just
don't
a
want
minute.
people to miss out on the names that you've mentioned. If I'm
Yeah,
not
no
wrong,
worries.
Shevon Daniel, Nikhil Bhai, he's the one who was a part of the under-19 team as well, right? Last year, the batter who some people also touted कि भाई IPL ही आ सकता है. he looked really good, of course. And Vijaykanth Vyaskant was a part of the Rajasthan Royals setup as well, like in terms of
He
net bowling,
was.
something that, yeah,
Sangha has picked him as a net bowler,
exactly.
and the one good news is that Mumbai Indians Dubai franchise has actually signed him for the next edition. He'll be playing for them in the January when it comes. So who knows? That might be the opening door because now the franchise cricket has become very global. Mumbai itself, like I'm a Mumbai Indians fan too. The Mumbai itself has like franchises all over the world. So perhaps if he get picked up, who knows? Like Teaksana got a chance to CSK, he might be the other one too.
Yeah, I think
100%.
Akshay wanted Dilshan Madhushankar, right, to play for RCB.
Exactly. I was going to ask, like, for me, Madhushanka, last year Asia Cup, the ball that he got, that he bowled to Virat Kohli, I've been a fan of him since then. Even today, the ball that he bowled to Gurbaz, man, that's what I love about him. His action. He's got such a smooth action, such a smooth run up. He's real when he's in full flow. He's definitely a force to reckon with. And yeah, I genuinely hope like only good things happen to him. But I also had a question, of course, like Sri Lankan cricket. LPL is something that right now this is the second season of the sort of renewed LPL, so to say, that happened
It's
last
actually
in
third
August.
season. Third season.
Third season, my bad, stand corrected. We saw how Hasranga played, of course, like a season like that only we can think of. We probably used to dream of, when we were in our childhood, when we used to think highest run getter, highest wicket taker, highest boundary scorer, everything. But in terms of him now coming back into the setup post the World Cup, who do you think would have to go out? Because right now, the 11 that's playing in the World Cup, it seems to have gelled really well. They seem to have some flow, some consistency there. The bowling attack looks really well rounded. Of course, the likes of Kumara, Chamira, Patirana, all of them, and of course Madhushanka, they haven't been fit together. Seeing all of them bowling at the same time, add Tikshana to that, as add Hasranga to that, it definitely is a spicy contest to think of. But how do you see it playing out? Because you can't, of course, accommodate all of them. That would mean too long a tail, and I don't think Sri Lanka's batting is there yet to accommodate
Yes,
such a long tail.
yes,
So how do you
yes.
see that panning out?
Perhaps like because what I would say now, as you said, the team is very gelling and all these things. So we are hearing news that Angelo Matthews might retire after the World Cup. I'm not really sure about it. So perhaps Hasranga can come into his position. And now we don't know the future of the Sanaka. So he might have to recover now. So there is one space for an all-rounder to come up. And perhaps we might play him instead of Dhananjay De Silva as well because Dhananjay De Silva is not a very fast scorer when it comes to that position. Because he's ideal for conditions like perhaps today's match. He didn't do much, but like this is type of the wicket that suits him very well. And the Zimbabwe wicket where Sri Lanka played qualifiers, and the Sri Lankan wickets and all these things suit him. But when it comes to very flat wickets and you need to score runs, for example, like what happened in Hyderabad or Delhi or some sort of flat wicket, you need somebody like Hasan to come. And he has tons of experience. He's a legend. He's proved a lot of things and he's a veteran. So he will be coming and the selectors might be thinking, finding ways to accommodate him in this 11. And, as you told, we have this problem about this injury so it doesn't matter how much bigger your talent pool is, still there is place for somebody to come.
Yeah, in fact, Samar Ahmed going on to say multiple Sri Lankan cricketers have recently sustained injuries, losing them out of action. This suggests a pattern. Any particular reason why this might be happening? I'll add to that as well. In the sun, if you notice, all have been muscle injuries, right? Something that even Russell Allen was telling me at the airport, and he's mentioned it on air right now. I mean, why is this happening? Is it just like a coincidence?
No, it's because the same question was asked to Mahela Jayawardene, who was a consultant coach this year and last year in Australia because we have so many injuries there. So what Mahela said was like, these guys are very, very young, very raw, and they just come out of the system and because they are talented, they were given the national duties to bowl. So when they come from the school system, you hardly find them having this proper physiotherapists and coaches and everything. It's just a very, very normal way of them doing. And then they need to put into this system. And this system also needs some time because now only Sri Lanka has physiotherapists and the specialist doctors are they are looking after them. So all these people very young because if you just see like Madhushanka early 20s, Patirana just hitting 20. Same with Shami. perhaps a little bit older than them, but like he broke into the system. So it's always there. Even Lasith Malinga had some injuries, perhaps not to this frequent, but he also had some injuries in his life. He had to give up his red ball very early part of his life because of the injuries he had. So this is very orthodox system. So now I think there are measures and structures put in place to put these guys into a system to make them fit because that's what's told by him because he's the consultant coach of Sri Lanka. I wanted to call.
Yeah, at least that should be put in place, and hopefully there's not that many people in the hospital with regards to injuries and
Yeah,
all of
because
that.
once again, this workload management is also a problem because these guys are playing because Sri Lanka definitely plays a lot of cricket because of the qualifiers. You know, in 2021 they played qualifiers, 2022 they played qualifiers, 2023 they played qualifiers. So all these qualifiers come with additional pressure, additional things. So when the World Cup starts for everybody, like say like this particular month, Sri Lanka's World Cup starts 1 month before that, and they need to go for practices before that, and they play some franchise cricket and some bilateral series, and there you have this Asia Cup and everything. So that's also part of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of games, and sometimes it's understandable because players have to kind of do their job, especially national duty. They don't want to say no as well. Couple more questions then. How frustrating is it for you as a Sri Lankan fan looking at someone like Kusal Mendes? Sanjay goes on to ask. He's been a lot more consistent in recent times. It always feels like he's a Rohit Sharma equivalent in his initial years.
He's a really raw talent, and I want to say that when he broke into the system, it was 2016 when he first played that remarkable knock against Australia in Kandy in the Test match. He single-handedly won the match for Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan coach back then was like, Graham Ford, and he doesn't speak well. And he came out of the media and he said, like, he's our coach. So that is talent. That when he's going when he's in his flow and when he's going up, my goodness, we would love to see every shot and the power he generates and the connect he gets and all these things. But again, these frustrating moments, like, he comes, he throws his wickets and he makes some silly mistakes, he gets out. So this is part and parcel of Total Mendy's because we are used to it because, he frustrates you for some time, but then plays patch or few innings. You thought like, this is worth waiting, then go to that title. Perhaps he picks up the injuries. It is frustrating. It's a very love and hate relationship that we have.
Okay, finally, then India Sri Lanka on the 2nd November in the sun. How badly is Sri Lanka going to lose? Just tell me a number. Come on. Because there's no
Quite.
chance there's
I
going to
mean,
be.
I just can't. I'm not in a position to contradict this statement, to be honest, because India is like, mighty, mighty India, and India's finding ways to win the matches. And as you told in the beginning, everything in this Indian lineup is being constantly tested by each opponent. The New Zealand stretched them somewhat, England stretched them some more, but they are very resilient. They are coming back and all these things. Looking at India, the Wankhede is the home ground of Rohit Sharma, right? Virat Kohli played a lot of games because he plays IPL there. Shubman Gill is, looking at this Indian top order, and if Hardik Pandya comes, that was his home ground. Or else if Sky plays, that is his home ground. And that flat wickets and small boundaries and everything that terrifies me, to be honest, to begin with. But cricket is always like that. You can't just stick those things. But just go and battle it. And as long as Sri Lanka being competitive, perhaps Sri Lanka might lose it, but post a few challenges to India, like what they did it in the Asia Cup, that would itself be a victory for Sri Lanka.
Okay, let's see how that goes. We'll, of course, get you for some future shows in the sun, but you've been an absolute champ this evening. Even though your audio's been slightly muffled, it's all right because Pranavaram going on to say usually it's the government or the board's responsible for muffled sound fans. It's the first that in regard. He's just having a little bit of tongue in cheek. Thank you in the
I
sun.
don't
Thank
know.
you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Thank you. It's a great honor for me to come here and speak on behalf of Sri Lanka Cricket. And thank you very much for this opportunity. And I
Thank
wish
you so
India
much.
and Indian fans all the best this thing because as I told you, I have a soft corner on Rohit Sharma. He is a Mumbai Indians captain. So I want him to lift that World Cup. It's okay. If not for Kane Williamson, let him lift it.
All
Okay,
right.
super.
Lovely.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, and we'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hindusan.
Top man, man. I mean, this is why we love interacting with just fans from the rest of the world. We'll probably get some South African fans as well who we met, and in the sun, a champion, and hopefully Sri Lanka can spoil a couple of parties remaining in this World Cup. I know they're kind of not going so all right against Afghanistan, which we'll talk about at some point in time. Good chat. Thank you so much, Samar. We really, really appreciate it. Give this video a quick like before we talk about India a little bit more, about why England have been shit, because we have to live up to the title of this video. It says England are shit and England suck, or whatever, however you want to read it. We'll start with England, and then we'll just move on to India to end the main chat, lads. Talk to me about why and how England have been so bad. I mean, Nikhil, they look literally like Kenya in disguise. It's not the best reference, but you know what I mean.
No, I think we've discussed at length in the last few games as well about why England have suddenly looked like that. And I don't think the problem with England is that they have lost games. I think the problem is the manner in which they have lost, and they haven't even competed in most of those second innings or the second half. And that is something that I think might be a good time for them to reflect on in terms of how has a unit which has 8 to 9 World Cup winners just suddenly lost touch? It's almost as if none of them are able to just pace their innings, or the one game where they got the bowling plans right to India, they kept them to 229, but with and it was helpful conditions. But with the bat, the moment one fell, they all fell like nine pins. Uh, Lots to look at for England in terms of how they want to play, because I think the problem with them is firstly it has to be acceptance that you can't play one way cricket everywhere. Even Rohit Sharma is playing aggressive cricket, but he also adapted to the surface. And if he was able to do that while batting first, while batting second, all you had to do yesterday was bat out the 10-15 overs. Just bat it out. It's only 230 that you have to chase. Two new balls, so much due. It wasn't going to be easy for India to control the rate had they gotten a start. But yesterday, I don't think you can even say that they got out to right shots. India was just that good that Siraj bowled 2 overs, okay overs, and you got him off, and then you had Shami on, and then Shami just showed that there was no business warming the bench for him, and I don't think he's going back on that bench ever in this World Cup at least.
What did you make of it, Akshay? Because I'm trying to think of whether England have been worse with the bat or they've been worse with the ball, but statistics don't lie, and I think it's worse with the bat, you feel?
It's worse in that, I mean, the bowling still I mean, like even during our mega preview, we did speak about, the bowling frailties. So it was sort of coming, it was sort of expected. But the batting the batting falling off a cliff wasn't expected. So that way, yeah, definitely the batting has been a rude shock, even to people like me. Like, it's hard to point fingers at something in specific, something in particular. Okay, this happened, that happened. There's nothing. I see a few comments saying, they were woefully unprepared and all of that, underprepared. But I don't think so. They did play enough ODIs coming into the tournament. Sure, matlab, in general, in the 4-year period, yeah, they might not have. But in the last couple of months, they also played a few ODIs, maybe not in similar conditions and all of that. But come on, you would expect the defending champions to be able to adapt, to be able to acclimatize better than what they have. And we spoke about it even during the England-Sri Lanka game, where they've refused to adapt. It almost feels like they're just living in silos. They're living in a different universe. Mumbai se Bangalore aaye, lekin dimag abhi bhi Mumbai mein hi tha. They were playing shots through the line. They were trying to flick. I mean, whatever. Let me not give those examples, but yeah, they were trying to flick balls well outside off stump. They had no business doing such things. Yesterday's game is concerned, yeah. So I don't think I'll be able to talk much about yesterday's game. So I would like to. I mean, Avnish, you can take a few more comments.
Yeah, I'll talk about a few more comments. I don't know why I'm chuckling there. I was just going through it, guys, and it just makes me think about how England, if they actually have a couple of more howlers in terms of results, they might not qualify for the Champions Trophy next. That's something for them to consider, right?
The rule will change.
The
I'm very
rules.
hopeful.
I mean, what is it? How does it work? The top 7 make it, and then the
Top
host.
7 and the
Top
host.
7
is
and host.
Pakistan. And I'm very sure there will be a few phone calls from Pakistan to England. Let's co-host or something like that, and then let's just have the co-host also in. But again, jokes apart, if it doesn't, uh, it might just be probably one of the harshest lessons that any cricket side has had, that you can go from absolute top to absolute rock bottom in a span of 6 to 7 years, that you look completely out of depth. You are at the top of the pile, and then you don't have anything to look forward to. uh, I don't know how they are going to come out of this, because you see a lot of those guys and you don't think that they're bad players. Of course, they aren't bad players, but it's just been that they've been so much stuck to one thing, that, and it is difficult, right? You can understand that why they don't want to go out of that bit, that no, this is
But the
our way of. And
since that they've not played the format, right? Even the fans outside the stadium who we spoke to, they were like, "Yeah, we don't play the 50-over format that much." And some fans were even kind of going at the 100 in terms of this is why they should not play the 100 that much, or the 100 should be scrapped so they can accommodate 50-over cricket because they like it that way. But that can't be a reason, right? They surely should be at least semi-finalists, if not anything else.
Yeah, and as you rightly said, if the problem, I mean, you can't complain about the structure if when you're winning, and then complain about it when you're not winning. Matlab, sorry if I got that reverse, but the point here is, if they deprioritize ODI cricket, then that is a call that Josh Butler, Matt Motts, and everybody else had to take together. That why is this happening? There is no reason for it to happen. You know that they play a lot of test cricket. They play over 50 test matches in that period, but they played only 40 ODIs, and and most people played 10 to 15 of them. And the guy who played the most number of ODIs was not even part of the World Cup squad in Jason Roy. So it's also a lesson in terms of you can't take the game for granted. And I feel that's been England's biggest problem, that they just felt that it will happen. People will find a way, but it doesn't. ODI cricket has a different vibe to it. It has a different skill set and periods of play where you have to respect the game and just be in that game a lot more than just trying to be ahead of it at all points of time. So they can blame the blast, they can blame the 100, but I mean, this was always there. And now, had you played more ODIs, had you just given that different pool to the ODI cricket, maybe it would have helped. Now, a lot of these guys play Test cricket as well. So whether you wanted to not rest them, not play them together enough, because you have to look at three big players. David Malan came back well, but Joe Root, his power play numbers are 4. I mean, to average 4 in a period of 4 years playing, but he's played only 18 games. How is that anywhere close to being enough to being prepared for a World Cup? So uh, I think they got a lot of preparation bit also wrong. You can tour places, but you need the core to play together. So again, we talked so much in the preview about bowlers not having played enough games. Their batters have spent enough time here, but still they were not able to adapt, which just tells you that in one day cricket there's a lot more to play, and not just starting on flat decks and then going after it. So lots and lots of harsh lessons actually for them.
Yeah, interesting point that you make there, Nix. It makes me ask Akshay right now about all those batters England, of course, lost, and it was one man who was just exposing them, Mohammad Shami. And it is that question: what do we do now as Team India? Do we stick with Mohammad Shami because his performances are not letting him be dropped? Look at what he's done in terms of just being there and the presence in the power play. All your metrics are amazing. The dot ball percentage to the strike rate and all of that. So has Shami now made himself undroppable because he's by far India's best World Cup bowler ever.
Easily, yeah, and it doesn't help that Siraj has had a poor World Cup. So had Siraj at least had half a decent World Cup, then maybe you could have still said, he came into the World Cup with good form, so let's back Siraj. There's literally nothing that you can say in Siraj's favor. So yeah, I don't see why would Siraj, hold on to
But
his
it's not
place.
surely thinking it's not such an easy decision, right? Like to drop Siraj and then get Shami back in.
To be honest, it is easy. I don't see what value add is Siraj giving right now. It's not like his death bowling has helped or something. And I mean, I personally, the reason why I didn't want to see Shami was that death bowling mein maar kha sakta hai. But if his new bowling is so good that he's able to take wickets in bunches, that's pretty much offsetting that liability, right? So yeah, might as well just pick him, and especially based on current form, which is what World Cup is all about. You need to see who's doing well in the World Cup, because World Cup is just for the next month. We're not thinking about some long term. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. तो ये अभी फॉर्म में है, सिराज फॉर्म में नहीं है. So to be honest, it's a no-brainer, in at least to me personally.
Isn't that a touch harsh, Nicks, with regards to Siraj kind of already biting the bullet?
It is, but I don't think Siraj can complain, to be very honest, because he's looked way off, and it is very, very surprising to see that because I mean, just a month back, the guy took 6 for in an Asia
Exactly.
Cup, blew away a team all by himself. But maybe it's just the quality of Bumrah and Shami at the other end that is also making look Siraj so off the mark. And we discussed about his bowling as well in yesterday's review. That has been all over the place. He's looked for that right lane, which is surprising given the fact that you were the guy who was leading the attack for all this time in the last few years. So what has suddenly changed? Which the one solution that I have to this as of now is open the bowling with Shami and Bumrah and use Siraj as first change. See if that settles him down. See if that makes him just find his lengths better with probably two more fielders outside so that he can just get back into rhythm. And once that is done, if you want to change your combination, if you want to get Ashwin in something or like that sorts, maybe you can do that. Because even yesterday he bowled 2 overs and he was off, and Shami came back in. So I don't think it might be a bad ploy, given that you're also playing next game in Wankhede. You might get some early help, and that might just be the best time to use Shami also with the new ball. Just set it up so that Siraj doesn't have the pressure of having to take new ball wickets and he goes searching for it.
I just want to, of course, showcase Shub's great analytical piece on Mohammad Shami right now because it's titled, I think, Shami's vicious seam bowling is making swingless Siraj droppable. And we'll have it for you right now. And this little depiction comes to mind with regards to India's bowling average in the first 10 overs in one internationals and Mohammad Siraj and what he's done so far. Because if you dive deep into this article, it tells you that Siraj has played the joint most ODIs for India since Jan 2022, picking up the most wickets. And he had to kind of lead the pack because Bumrah was, remember, absent. So essentially, Siraj has done a lot of things which has got him credit in the bank, pretty much like how Shreyas Iyer has been one of the fine batters from last World Cup heading into this World Cup, but hasn't come to fruition so far this World Cup. And Akshay, when you look at this article as well, and we take a look at this start, swing bowlers in overs 1 to 10 in World Cup 2023, you look at Siraj's average over there, that's concerning, I would say.
100%, which is why it comes as a no-brainer to me, at least, that Shami should be given the nod ahead of him. And before we even get further into this, Nikhil, I wanted to understand though, like if you want to play Siraj at first change with Hardik Pandya potentially come, let's assume Hardik Pandya will come back, not the next game, but eventually he will come back. Would you still play Siraj if Pandya is back in, or you're just talking about this as a stopgap solution till Pandya makes his way back into the side?
Yeah, yeah, till Pandya comes back on the side. Because again, with Hardik, you can bowl in first change as well, so that is not
Exactly.
a concern. So basically, you could potentially just swap out Siraj and Shami from that if you want Ashwin or Shardul at 8, even if you're going down that route when Hardik is back. Because without Hardik, I don't see Ashwin playing. So that is probably the only way out.
Yeah, and
Okay.
personally, just one more thing. To me, Siraj has always seemed like a rhythm bowler. अगर वो rhythm में पूरा
Yeah.
tournament अच्छा खेल जाएगा, नहीं तो पूरा tournament खराब है.
Mm.
We've seen that last IPL and this IPL, and he had a poor, horrible, horrendous IPL sandwich between two fantastic IPL seasons.
Exactly.
So it's very unpredictable with him, which is why I actually, to be honest, wouldn't even mind someone like a Shardul coming back instead of Siraj, because अगर वो first change पे middle overs में ऐसा, if Siraj is going to be this way, I don't think Shardul will be too bad. And maybe Shardul's batting could, I mean, I'm not saying it'll help us, whatever, but yeah, I'd rather have him because Shardul has shown a knack for taking wickets in the middle overs, something Siraj hasn't. So might as well go to him, to be honest. What do you think, Nikhil? Is that too left field a change, or?
No, I don't see that happening because I don't think they trust Shardul at all, which I feel very, very unfair with Shardul because I mean he was the guy who was doing the donkey's job for you when your great guns were not playing. But then when they are back, you're not even showing enough trust to bowl him more than 5 overs, and then you do it when one of your key bowlers gets injured, and then that is also on a very good batting deck. तो फिर वहां से फिर जज करके it's always going to be harsh, but again, it is what it is. I feel they should probably try it for 2 games. Use Siraj first change. Just help him settle. See, if he comes down to bowl with the score being 35 for 2 or 40 for 3, it's a completely different challenge. And it's a probably a challenge that might just relax him. And see, because I feel Siraj is a guy who's very again, not body language expert. I feel he's someone who relies a lot on rhythm and emotion to just get himself through a lot of good spells. So if there that pressure is not, if the load is off him and the expectations aren't of him to just strike early with a new ball, maybe it might just make him settle into a good rhythm, and then he'll eventually strike. So you have two games. Of course, the two are wherever they are, but not a bad time to try that, I feel.
What is it with Shami, guys, by the way? Because I was looking at some of our previews, our chats in the Asia Cup, and obviously when we were doing the mega preview, and none of us even said, yeah, Shami for sure, because we were just so obsessed with form. Bumrah back in the attack. There was
Yeah.
no space for Shami. It's almost like he's taken to every ICC tournament, especially World Cups, like a different player. He seemed possessed. I mean, many people on Twitter were reckoning now he's undroppable no matter what, on what surface you play. Do you see it that way? Do you think Dravid and company will also get it that way in terms of Shami's just red hot form? So why remove him at all, Nix?
So I think we were all going by the same logic of recent form of Siraj, and Siraj had done nothing that told you that he'll bowl this way. And even before Shami came in, you had no clue that Shami will just come in and take off, which he has. So credit to him. Again, probably lessons for England: prepare well. Shami was preparing well at his own um, venue, his own place, because he has different type of wickets where he says, "I just keep bowling on different type of wickets," and just was getting ready. So if there is a guy who's ready, that's the best place to be as a side, that you have a guy who's come in and taken 9 wickets in 2 games. It's not even, I mean, he hasn't shown any sign of rustiness, which is great, right? And that just tells you how much hard work has gone in the background with Shami. So kudos to him. I don't think any of us saw that coming, but if he's done that, he's just shown that I think this is probably the best India has had in terms of bowling quality. That there is no let up. That you go from Bumrah, Siraj is the only, and it is so stupid that the one guy who you feel is the weakling was actually the number one ODI bowler for enough time for you. So Kuldeep is taking wickets every game. That ball to Butler, you know, going one way, looking other. Jadeja has been economical, not giving anything away. Bumrah up top, Shami doing like that. This is probably as good as it can get, and you still have a guy who's not bowling well. So I think credit to Shami. I don't know whether Rohit and Rahul can have that conversation with him. Ke Shami Mia, Aram Kurla, because Shami will not want to, and he doesn't deserve to be very very honest. Unless they feel, see, I don't see him not playing the Mumbai game, and Bangalore as well. You don't see that happening. So and Kolkata तो भाई मतलब बहुत खेले वहाँ पे, तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि he doesn't know the venue. So very interesting times. I won't be surprised if they probably play Shami and use Siraj as the third change, because I don't see the place to get Ashwin back. So unless Hardik gets fit, it'll probably be the same combination, and maybe just hopefully different roles. Who knows? Let's see.
Okay. By the way, we'll talk about all the other questions coming through right now in the 12th man segment at the end of the show. So, Ashutosh Bajpai, who else was it who had some good questions for us? Santosh Urpa, as usual, and even Ashish Vaishnav. Good to see all you guys with your questions. Don't worry, Naniko 4, we'll take it at the end of the show. But just to close up this chat, then, with regards to India, guys, India, I know, plays Sri Lanka, then they have South Africa, and then Netherlands. Really quickly, right now on the 30th of October, do we think India are going to win the World Cup? And do you think India are going to win the World Cup with a 100% win record? Want your predictions right now so I can hold you guys hostage later. Nikhil, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, super. So 11 wins in the trot. I agree with you. Akshay, is it a full house of yeses?
Just to avoid the bullying, I'll say yes.
Okay, good boy. He's learned from, of course, past shows as well. Let's, of course, move on then, guys, because it is even kind of coming to a climax at the Afghanistan Sri Lanka game. So I don't want to really leak into the Afghanistan Sri Lanka post match review. So we'll move on to the best of the rest, and we're going to talk all things, including IPL. Right, all things including IPL, and I say that because IPL, according to that PTI report that I read this morning, 19th of December, I thought it was the 16th, but 19th of December, they're having the auction in Dubai, and that's going to be something interesting. Now, 5 crores extra is being given to every franchise from the 95 crore budget, the purse, I should say, to 100 crores for the first ever time in IPL history. So that makes it all the more lucrative, all the more exciting as fans. And of course, Akshay will now tell us why the IPL auction is always a fun time for him personally as well.
Yeah, man. Always loved it. Been watching it since I don't know, probably 2011. Mega Auction was the first time and when it was properly televised and marketed. And since then, I've been hooked onto it even more than the IPL itself. It's just great fun to see and try and understand what teams are trying to do. And really looking forward to this auction as well because what Punjab have 12 crores, Mumbai have 5 lakhs. I'm talking about this without the 5 crore edition being, included in their purse. So it'll be very interesting to see who they'll be letting go of and a lot of strategies become clearer, a lot of their plans become clearer in the auction itself, like who they're letting go of, who they are retaining, because 15 November is the cutoff date. The trade window has already begun. Something I look forward to every season, only to be disappointed. Ki, bhai, why doesn't IPL start involving themselves more into the trade? I mean, why don't IPL teams involve themselves more in the trade season? It's right there. Like, how can you be so dumb? I mean, economics में एक है, there's no zero sum game करके, it's a very common thesis. IPL also, there's no zero sum game. Teams unfortunately think that trading players might help the other team a lot more than it would their team, so they don't do it. ऐसा नहीं चलता भाई. Even you're letting go of a player, you're getting, your purse is increasing, you'll have another vacancy. Please trade guys. And Daniel Vettori भाई एक मदद कर दे, Glenn Phillips को इधर भेज दे यार प्लीज. मतलब इतना झेला है तेरे को 2017-18 IPL देख भी लिया है. Thoda come, at least for the love of what RCB's done for you, please just trade, just allow us to have Glenn Phillips. But yeah, on that note, definitely looking forward to the auction.
I mean, we can tell the anticipation in your voice as well. But speaking of anticipations, there are lots of other players who are going to be coming back into the fray. Remember, I think Mitchell Stark, I read somewhere, has confirmed his return to the IPL after, I think, 8 years or so. I think Pat Cummins is also going to be back in the auction, and not to forget some other notable names: Travis Head, Chris Brooks, Alex Hales, if he gets the IPL contract. Nix, what have you heard so far from the clamor and the rumors right now? I saw an interview with MS Dhoni's done and dusted with his knee injury, and I think he's living up to the tagline of playing this IPL, which is great. I think they're going to release Ben Stokes by the looks of things to get that, extra financial injection to get some more characters in their squad. And generally, do you think it's going to be another year where people who do well in the auction can actually do well out there in the field as well?
Yeah, very much possible. I was just thinking about the trade, and I know a team who let go of a left-hand seamer to a side that wanted it on a platter, and then he's calling other sides dumb. I don't
But
know.
RCB नहीं था लेफ्ट आर्म पेसर इसने. If you're referring to Behrendorff, then भाई क्या Behrendorff तो Behrendorff है भाई. Trent Bolt, दिल्ली ने Trent Bolt को छोड़ा है. उसके सामने तो I think we can still. I mean,
तो
it's
मैंने
fine.
नाम लिया ही नहीं. आई डिडंट टेक नेम ऑफ एनी फ्रेंचाइज हियर.
हाँ हाँ, but हम लेकिन
थैंकफुली
सिर्फ होते
पाजी
हैं ना.
नहीं है. नहीं
हाँ.
थैंकफुली पाजी नहीं है, तो अच्छे एक दो शॉट लग जाते वैसे. बट माय एग्जैक्टली माय थॉट that they'll end up spending another 10 crores on an opener and wonder, अरे इसको भी किधर खिलाएंगे, and then suddenly the Delhi pitch will change, and then they will again send a space hitter वैसे spin and then wonder कि यार अभी क्या हो रहा है, मतलब why, let's go back to Lalit Yadav. But very interesting to see who all these teams come up with in terms of new buys, because you've seen a lot of players in the World Cup, but there is also this match that is just coming to a close. A lot of interesting performances there, but sometimes with the auctions as well, something that at times disappoints me is people still pick and choose from that bubble, and it's not wide as much as we think it is in terms of taking newer people in. So Now I don't know who will go for Rachit Ravindra if they want to, but it will not be a bad shout. If you want a guy who wants to bat in the top order and bowl for you, it might not be a bad try. But will actually a team go for someone like him? I don't know.
I was actually thinking of this, which team could go for him. Go for him. You know, Sunrisers actually could go for him. They already have a packed, foreign middle order. They can let go of Phillips. Bhai, please, Phillips ko hata do. But either ways, they can also, I don't know,
Phillips
maybe
is
drop a Markram or someone, because they don't have a lot of spin options. They had one of the weakest, spin attacks in the 22 season. Even last season as well, they were forced to play Rashid. Mayank Markande wasn't given enough chances. He was chopped in, a lot of chopping and changing. Maybe Ravindra could be, and there's Daniel Vettori, so the Kiwi connection, you never know. That also sometimes that also plays a role sometimes. Actually, I feel SRH wouldn't be the worst, option for him. Usko middle order में खिलाएंगे भी. Yeah, भाई RCB has been one of the most active teams in the trading season historically. कुछ तो भाई,
अरे
कुछ
दे आर
तो.
अ कंटेंट टीम, तुम क्यों ये सब बात
हाँ,
कर रहे
वो
हो?
भी
चिल
बात तो
मारो.
सही है, बात तो
हाँ.
सही है.
Rohan Parsi
Domestic,
is adamant saying talk about domestic guys who could be
I have
picked
a
up.
few names. Yeah, Samir Rizvi in the UP league as well, and in the Smart as well,
Yes,
he's been doing well. A lot of people have been telling that he's been making the right noises.
absolutely.
He would be one to look out for. He's definitely going to a team. अभी पैसे कितने मिलेंगे वो पता नहीं है. And there's one more player that I really like watching in the TNPL. G Ajitesh, Guruswamy Ajitesh,
अरे
fantastic
भाई,
wicket keeper bat. मेरे को तो अच्छा लगा था, and मैं तभी से again. RCB needs someone like him. We need a DK replacement. Who better than someone from the
अब
land of DK?
two down यार, far too
I know
down for
it's
him
put
to
down,
play.
but number 4, I mean, number 6 पे खिलाना ये, I feel he can adjust. यार, number 6 पे T20 format है,
Just
ODI भी नहीं. I
ठीक
mean,
छोड़ो.
छोड़ो ठीक है, अभी इतना मैं
Man,
बोल
that's
रहा हूँ.
wishful thinking, though, man. Whenever RCB really given a shot to the youngster, I mean, that too from like a left field choice. I mean,
Again,
hopefully,
no, to be honest, no, come on. RCB can be, cut some slack here. They've given enough chances to youngsters, even in the last 2-3 years. I really feel they would, do well with someone, with the replacement for DK this season. If nothing else, I hope someone like a Sam Billings is also not a bad shout, because again, the reason I'm being so sort of anal about finding a replacement for DK is I don't know how good will he be, and we can't afford to have another season from DK like we had this year. Because had he been even, I don't know, like 20% better than what he did, which was as close to zero as possible, we would really have been in the top 4. So agree with you there. So I really hope someone like an Ajitesh or someone, I don't know, we can. Exactly. See, thank you, Darshan. Thank you. I can think of a couple. Even Parthiv Patel was traded out, which was, to be honest, not the worst option. 2014 में जब हमारे साथ था. Thank you again, Darshan. That's particle over Parthiv, 100%. No two questions about it. And I'm forgetting the leg spinner's name. The leg spinner from
सुयश,
Hong Kong.
अच्छा sorry.
No, not Suyash. The leg spinner from Hong Kong who was a part of the TNPL. Let me just confirm the name. Akash had interviewed him as well. A fantastic interview if you guys haven't checked out. He was mentored by Lakshman Sivaramakrishnan, personally mentored by him.
is that
Jataved
next spinner
Subramaniam. Jataved Subramaniam. Yeah, I'm
Jadhav
forgetting.
Subramanian, yes, sorry
Yeah,
यार,
yeah.
कैसे, how
He's
will you
the
forget that? Yeah.
exactly. He also beautiful action, fantastic loop, had great control, which again is rare to see from a leg spinner. He also would definitely be picked. I feel he's also another domestic name to look out for.
Shahrukh will come to Chennai. Moin Ali will go any which ways. So
But
you
last
might
year,
need an off spinner.
Punjab and Bangalore were in talks about a trade, never really went through.
Uh,
But you never know if Punjab let go of him.
yeah.
Not beyond
I
them
think
to do
Shahrukh would be a great addition at Chepauk. Great guy, can bowl. I mean, he's TNPL with purple cap holder, but that doesn't count for a lot
bowling.
in IPL. But he could be a great addition for Chennai.
बट भाई साहब
Given
को
that the
तमिलनाडु में ठीक से खिला नहीं रहा, आप सीएसके में भेज रहे हो, देखो.
CSK का जो दिमाग वाला है वो अलग आदमी
हाँ,
है, तो
वो
I'm
तो
not
है, वो
debating
तो है.
that.
But on
Yeah, yeah.
CSK, really quickly, do you think that they're going to get rid of Stokes and then, of course, get in someone like, I don't know, Stark or someone
See,
crazy?
I don't think Chennai is going to go for a name that is big. Predominantly, I don't remember the last time they had a big purchase. Ben Stokes was a surprise to me
Yeah,
also.
exactly.
Honestly, I felt they should have probably gone for somebody else. But ठीक है. I'm very interested to see if they go for Gerald Kodse.
I was just going
If
to mention that name. I can already picture him playing under Dhoni.
and again, he's played already for the South African franchise, so
Yeah.
ऐसा नहीं है कि it will be new. So he's the one name that I'm looking for. उसके अलावा see Moin I think is going to go back home earlier for the Pakistan T20s or England play. So that's where I feel there's an option at number 3. This is where I feel if Rachit Ravindran comes in, but यार center को नहीं खिला पा रहे. So I don't know, but Rachit Ravindran is a completely different guy, and I think he would really suit the style of play that Chennai are trying to play. So, and again, it will be
वो है
great, yeah, Gaikwad, Conway, and Ravindra. That's a very comfortable top 3 to have. But
true.
let's see. I think too early. Let's see who all they release, and then we might be in a better place to discuss specific names also.
100%. Just a
Uh,
couple of things. The Stokes buy, I mean, in terms of the Stokes buy, they've already burned their hands. Probably the first time that they went for a
yeah.
name didn't help them. So there could be a chance that they let go of him.
Flintoff,
But
it's
oh
always
yeah,
been
fair,
like that.
fair, fair.
Yeah,
Same with
remember
Two
Flintoff also.
all-rounders
the
too.
time when RCB went for Maxwell, they won
Traded,
Maxwell
yeah.
as
True,
much as
true, true.
us, right? So they didn't get
Yep.
Maxwell.
But
Akshay, really
but
quickly on RCB then. They get, of course, Will
Yes.
Jacks. They still have him. Patidar, of course, it will come back. Do you think it'll be there?
Patidar has been lighting up this mat. Happy to see in tough conditions, in really tough conditions. I'm forgetting who it was against UP. Sorry, MP versus UP. Rest. No one else was able to score in excess of 105, if I'm not wrong. And Patidar scored a 31 ball, 58 against a UP lineup, which is one of the strongest bowling attacks in this match. So it's not like it's a matlab acha wala bowling attack nahi hai. So happy to see him back in form. And also just to take Darshan's comment on Manoj Bhange before we go to Santosh Udpa. Yeah, finisher acha hai. It's just that he is in the Dubey mold, doesn't move his feet at all, loves, sort of going, I mean, using his hands a lot, just goes through the motion. He has a very good swing. Bowling, though, I'm not going to consider him
Damn.
a bowler at all. He is a batter, that's it. And he definitely deserved a chance this season, especially when Shabaz wasn't performing. Not sure why did they even prefer Kedar Jadhav above him. So don't know. Matlab, yeah, these are things that happen behind the rooms. We don't know how the nets are going on and all of that. Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm just giggling because when he said I don't consider him as a bowler, I feel आधे आरसीबी के bowler को वैसे भी bowler consider नहीं करते.
यार
That is
Sorry.
कितना ठीक है बट
that
क्या
is
करें बट and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing Patidar coming back and Manoj Bhange ये season अभी देखना पड़ेगा because I'm hoping Shahbaz also does well. He's been good with the ball
Yeah.
at least. Bat में उतना कुछ खास एक उसने Tripura के against 9 ball 30 ऐसा कुछ बनाया था but again Tripura, so let's not, again we'll have to sort of take it
I
with a
think
pinch of salt.
the best bit about this auction and the IPL would be a lot of the World Cup selection probables, provision, whatever will be on the basis of whatever happens from here on. So it should be very, very interesting for all the youngsters who are part of it. Be it Tilak Verma, Suresh Sharma, who's taking a lot of wickets in this match. So really interesting times ahead.
And 100%
100%.
going to be doing a watch along or some sort of thing for that because last IPL auction, I think I was in Thailand somewhere and these boys were like doing something in bits and pieces. But we'll try to have a plan that's still a while away. But we really, really appreciate your questions.
Let's go to Dubai. Let's go to Dubai
100%
with
निखिल
and
भाई
Sumesh.
आप टिकट बुक
Fan
कीजिए
cam
हम
करते
अभी
वहाँ
आ रहे
पे.
हैं. But I mean, IPL के साथ, let's not forget 10 days before the IPL auction is the WPL auction that happens on the 9th of December.
Yep.
We touched upon it briefly when the teams announced the squads a couple of weeks ago. But a couple of names to look forward to in the WPL auction as well. Of course, there's Shabnam Ismail who's been let go of. I'm pretty sure some team would go for her. Sophia Dunkley
UK
hasn't
league.
been in the greatest of form, I know, in the WBBL and, of course, recently in international cricket as well. But you would imagine she would also have buyers. One player I'm looking forward to and hoping RCB go for is Ola Pendergast. Ireland ki all-rounder hai, number 3 batter.
Far too much hope for a guy who's with RCB. ठीक है.
अरे अच्छी बहुत अच्छी bowler player है बहुत ज्यादा
They
अच्छी.
have always gone. I know she's my common. You can check all my last teams. She'll be captain, vice captain in almost every game. But RCB always go for big names.
अरे
So they will
भाई
go
Andy
for.
Flower, I mean Luke Williams is the guy's name. Let's थोड़ा भरोसा रखो यार, big names आप इतना बोल रहे हो, थोड़ा भरोसा रखो. When will the WPL happen? It'll happen in March. It won't
It'll
be
be
pushed.
great if she's part of it. It'll be great. And
Fingers crossed.
I'll consider backing Bangalore over UP नहीं होगा, sorry. I'll consider backing Bangalore if they play Orla.
100%. And Alana King will be the another spinner.
Of
I
course.
was genuinely surprised why she even went unsold in the first place last year.
Let her
hoping
come
that
back. She'll take 5 for against Gujarat only.
100%. इसीलिए exactly, that's the point I was about to make, Darshan. Under Elise Perry, she'll also get a fantastic mentor to look up to, because she's in the same mold. Very good all-rounder. Really hope RCB, make a bid for her, if not buy her. Sophie Molyneux would be another all-rounder I'm looking at, because a lot of these Kim Garth and Tara Norris, all of these players have been let go
Yeah,
of. Probably teams might be looking at, sort of shoring up their pace all-rounder reserves.
yeah,
So you never know, they'll get and Mahika Gaur, who was supposed to go to
yeah.
Gujarat last season, unfortunately their bid wasn't considered for God knows what reason. Now that she's a part of the England setup, she'll come in as an overseas player. Gujarat bhai,
Ah,
kya bole abhi tum log ko? But she's definitely getting a bid, I would imagine.
100%.
6 feet 3 inches, tall left armor, can bat down the order.
Blanket Bombay Decks must perfect person to exploit that bounce.
Exactly. एंड संतोष पेटिशन आप लिखो, मैं अभी साइन करके भेजता हूँ यार. प्लीज 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 चिन्नास्वामी में खिलाओ, नहीं तो नेक्स्ट टाइम पक्का हम जा रहे हैं भाई मुंबई. देखना तो है, 100% देखना. आई
Ah,
रियली होप दैट्स द केस. And yeah, WPL will happen in the same window as last year, Darshan. I don't think it'll be pushed back to Diwali, because starting December,
yeah,
India play a series against England, followed by a series against Australia. So there's no time. December is usually the time where Indian women play a lot of series. Like even last year, they had
yeah.
the Australians touring them. So I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Okay, super. I mean, the IPL chats can continue when, of course, the auctions happen, and we'll be there, cricket.com, to bring you that coverage 100%. And the rest of the questions, keep them coming through. We'll, of course, take them the 12th man segment, which is in about 5 to 10 minutes' time. We, of course, have one more thing to show you in the best of the rest, and that is, of course, the Newsly Week letter. Have I got it right?
Second
Wow, man.
second time in a row.
I've done that intentionally this time, guys. I've done that intentionally this time.
Good save,
Because
good save.
I know I made an absolute mess of it, but there we go. The cricket.com weekly, which is, of course, the newsletter that this time has been written by Gaurav Nandan Tripathi. And he goes on to say, from PCB's witch hunt and Riyad Parag's record to close World Cup finishes, here's what happened this week. It's a fantastic read. Honestly, if you guys have missed the week of cricket, you should go check this article out, because it tells you everything that you guys want to, of course, digest in terms of the ODI World Cup. But of course, outside that, the PCB and doing shocking things with Inzamam ul Haq, of course, resigning from that particular story. And then there's other fascinating things that you can get to see here. So, of course, check it out. The BCCI women, of course, putting up that fixture list of the home season for 2023-2024. And they have, of course, England and Australia coming through. And lots more to like in this newsletter. So check it out. And, of course, it's available on the website and the app as well. Right, time to move on to, of course, the How's That segment. And hope Akshay has something ready for all of us. Right. So last week we asked you what again, Akshay?
Last week, of course, the question was a bit, to get sort of more people to watch cricket.com onto it. And guys, if you haven't already, please do check it out. Some fantastic content out there. So yeah, last time the question was, how many food dishes had we mentioned, or rather included in our cricket.com onto episodes? Till then, we had 3. The correct answer to that is, of course, 8. We've had 8 dishes, something even I had to look up and properly confirm. But yeah, no correct answers. This time around, we've decided to keep it a lot more cricket specific, so that we can have more answers coming in. And guys, once again, do remember to comment on the main comment section, not here, not in the live chat. It won't help you one bit. If anything, you'd only be helping the person, helping others to sort of get the right answer. So yeah, the question again is a bit World Cup related. Right now, yeah, Santosh, don't worry, it won't be food related, flights taken, etc. All right. Shots fired. Mari dalo, bhai.
I can
Yeah.
see that meme. Akshay going like this. The next question, and Santosh going fart.
No, but very simple question. Anderson Cummins, Ed Joyce share a certain record with 2 other players. Okay, just 4 players are a part of an exhaustive list. Anderson Cummins is a part of it. So is Ed Joyce. There are 2 more players, but there's one player of the 2 unnamed players whose name is unique to this list. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a creative in time, but because the list is also short, you don't need to worry. We'll have a banner put out. Okay, Anderson Cummins, Ed Joyce. These are the 2 names, part of an exhaustive list of just 4 players. What I want to know is what's so unique about one of the unnamed players. You'll understand it once sort of we have the banner out. We'll have it soon in like a
सब चुप हो गए, कोई तो बोलो.
yeah. No, I thought I would type, but yeah, no, my bad. But so just to be clear, Anderson Cummins, Ed Joyce, exactly X and Y. Identify X and Y, and isme Y is unique to this entire list for one reason. So I want to know what makes Y so unique. Okay, very simple question. So yeah, that's the how's that for this time around. Let's see how many of you get the answer right. And Santosh, hopefully this makes you happier. So yeah, guys, make sure you get just as much chatty as you were here in the main comment section as well. Do get your answers in. It'd be very interesting to know what you guys come up with. Avnish, by the looks of it, seems mystified. It's almost like someone's asked him what's 24 into 64 plus 32 into 98. मतलब एकदम खत्म हो गया टाटा bye bye.
I'm just trying to think. Addison Cummins is that West Indian pacer back in the day, correct?
Correct.
Ed Joyce, the England left-handed opening batter,
Correct.
correct? Any
Yeah.
other clues you can give out to a normal human being watching this?
No, absolutely not.
I have
Absolutely
given
not.
one. I have given one in private chat. You can check it. That is.
Nikhil bhai, good shout, but I'll also confirm ki the first part is right, but the second part isn't.
Again,
But
हाँ,
good shout, good shout. Huh.
हाँ,
Nice.
At least I got the line of thinking right. But
Yes. Correct. So yeah, guys, make sure you answer get your answers in the main comment section and not here.
I was gonna go with something with a name play with, of course, two cricketers in one combined name.
Oh, James Anderson, Pat Cummins.
Yeah, and then Ed Cowan, Ed Cowan, and I don't know, Sharif Joyce or something like that.
Sharif Joyce. If I'm not wrong, Ed Joyce's sister had played for Ireland as well. You could have taken her name. I'm sure you went with Sharif Joyce. All right.
Sharif Joyce is a good old Canadian quick back in the day.
Yeah. Who shared the new ball with a certain Avnish Hegde in his dreams.
I wish. This is when I'm staying in Toronto in my previous life. Okay, but guys, honestly, answer this how's that question before we can move along. And of course, take in some of your question, which is featuring in our next segment called, wait for it, the 12th man. Right, of course, keep your questions coming through. We'll take the best of it. And Rohan Patel, just honestly, why do you have to kind of be so nosy in the comments? We like how you're chatty in the comments, but I wasn't in Bangkok. I just said Thailand and you picked upon that. Like, you're insane, bud, honestly. But no, I wasn't in Bangkok. I was Koh Samui when that auction happened. There was another question over here with regards to, who was it? I think, yeah, Ashish Vaishnav. We haven't heard any reports of the IPL going to the UAE. I hope it goes back to South Africa. I don't want to see it in the UAE again. Nix?
if somebody's taking me there, I want to go wherever it is going. That's simple.
No, I just want to see like a 2009 sort of thing.
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ. Please let it happen. Manifest that also happening and us also going to cover from there. That would be great.
I mean,
Okay.
but South Africa, I feel now BCCI would be a lot more anal about timelines and starting games at 8 p.m. IST, which would mean South Africa may the times won't match. And last time around,
Yeah, I don't think it's
BCCI were a
going
lot
out.
more flexible.
Yeah,
Yeah?
I don't think they may go out.
No, to be honest, this time around, I
arrange it
really
in
think it
civilized.
will go out. No, because
Okay.
general elections this time, security would be a lot more
Would
important
be.
than ever before. So highly unlikely it'll happen in India because whatever. I think
Possible.
security नहीं दे पाएंगे. But UAE मत दो यार, please. और वो गर्मी में तो
UAE
बिल्कुल भी नहीं. Please यार, like spare a thought for the players as well. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
poor players, they're not poor by any means, but spare a thought for them nonetheless. बहुत गर्मी होती है. Please लेके चलो साउथ अफ्रीका में विंटर भी होता है. I remember Anil
हाँ.
Kumble in that RCB jumper,
I-
lovely scenes. And please sell those
I
jumpers,
prefer-
yaar. I'd love to get my hands on one of them as well.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, I think our Earth is best asked this one when Hindustan was around, but we couldn't give it to him. So one of you boys chip in. I'll have my 2 pence on it as well. Like today, I know they didn't play Pereira and they went with a more conservative approach with Karatne. Do you think they should kind of sometimes just take the brakes off, Nikhil, and go for it? Just go for it. Fortune favors the brave.
And I think Kusal usually does that. I am completely flummoxed by their batting intent today, which is something I want to hear from what he says at the post match because Afghanistan is doing it easy. It's hardly been a trouble. And Kusal said he wanted to bat first any which ways, which is even more surprising given that Hazmat was very clear. K dew will come in, it'll get better to bat on. And Rashid also said that we practiced and the wicket flew that will hold up a bit in the first gig. So very interested to see whether they thought it differently.
Okay. Vibor are going to ask, come on, guys, we're not really winning this. I think he's going back to the India chat that we had. 2015, we won
Okay,
7 in a row. 2019, top the table. What's new? Akshay?
hopefully,
Or
if not a
Nikhil?
semi-final, lose it in the final. Something new to talk about. Okay? Let's keep it that.
Okay.
And no 5-4-3, please, before anybody gets there.
I
No
was just
five.
going to say that we found a replacement for Suchant, but yeah, जो भी निखिल भाई ने कहा वो भी चलता है.
हाँ.
ठीक है, जो है सो है. They've done well so far, so yeah, we
Yeah.
can only be optimistic. Coming from the most optimistic Indian
Yeah.
fan out there.
Okay.
Debatable, but ठीक है.
Ashutosh Bajpai saying, can Siraj plays a middle over enforcer?
I mean, they have been going to him earlier because they're not bowling him at the end. So he's indirectly playing one, but he's also bowling the power play. My suggestion is to take him out of the first 7-8 overs, push him at over maybe 9, 8, and 10, and then you start from there. But potentially just an option to try. Let's see if it happens.
Okay. Would love to see a Venn diagram between England fans and United fans. Oh my word, Max Mojo. Unbelievable. Mohit already kind of taking a crack at the house that, saying Anderson choice Kepler Vessels and Owen Morgan. Close, but I don't know if you've got the cigar. Only time will tell. Next week we'll have the answers. And a final one in 12th man. It comes from a similar man, Ashutosh Bajpai. If Afghanistan win today and then Sri Lanka, and then against Sri Lanka, its match versus Australia is going to be a virtual quarterfinal. How much chance will you give Afghanistan top 4 in that context?
Just one thing, Afghanistan, if I'm not wrong, are allowed to play Sri Lanka just once. So and then against Sri Lanka, मतलब और कितनी बार खेलेंगे आशुतोष भाई? आज जीतेंगे तो श्रीलंका against ही जीतेंगे.
I think he meant Netherlands.
Netherlands is what he was going for, but 100%. I would really love to see Afghanistan in the top 4. And Avnish, Nikhil bhai, I hope you would be eating, your humble.
Why?
Why? Because 2 हफ्ते पहले when I said, Afghanistan could potentially be hoping for 4 wins, I was laughed at. See that?
You look at your initial predictions, though. Look at your initial predictions. You can't just change that.
You can say 200 random things. एक चीज चलेगा तो उसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि
exactly. That's how predictions work. Excuse me. I'll of course talk about the one prediction I got right. Why would I talk about the 100 predictions I got wrong? ये क्या बात है?
199, but ठीक है.
हाँ, चलेगा. 199 भी चलेगा, but of course I would talk about it. So yeah, hopefully both of you. Yeah. So, but yeah, fingers crossed. Let's hope they do well. It only bodes well for cricket in general.
Final question, guys, because we're way over time for the T20 World Cup next year. Will Kohli and Rohit be considered?
If they play enough, they should. If not, then no.
Akshay?
100% not. 100% not. Absolutely not. As much as I love both of them, please T20 खेलना बंद करो. I mean T20 I's खेलना बंद करो, please. Let's. Hey youngsters, काफी सारे हैं. Wait.
We'll know by 19th or the first week of December.
Yes, that's also there. Yeah. And one last thing before we end things, Darshan, he mentioned that, talking about RCB for 15 minutes just gave him a surge of anxiety. Completely feel you there, bro. 100%. It almost feels like, shuru ho gaya IPL. Bas RCB ke baare mein hi baat karna hai. But yeah, 100%. Just wanted to bring that up. But yeah, you can take Max Mojo's comment, Avnish.
Yeah, just sad. I mean, David Willey, I think, doesn't have a contract, and it just makes you think how in the world, like someone like ECB, I know they have Rob Key that they shouldn't be getting these things wrong. It seems like a 2003 problem, this, and it's happening in 2023. And I agree with Michael Ward, and I agree with even Nasser Sen and Michael Atherton in that whole 40-minute chat that they had. Right, more interesting content, of course, on cricket.com. In a few moments, we will, of course, see the boys pick the bones about the Afghanistan-Sri Lanka game in the review. You guys can catch that. And, of course, catch the other small little chat I had with Russell Arnold at the airport the other morning. It was quite riveting to see what he says. He doesn't think it's going to be in India. India entering the final. He wants it to be a New Zealand-South Africa final, a repeat of the rugby final. Lots more from Russ in that piece. And Akshay and Nick, thanks so much for your time on this Monday Night Live. It's so good to see 14 episodes already in this property. Onwards and upwards, I'm guessing, boys. And until I see you boys the next time, it's a goodbye from me. Have a fantastic rest of the week, boys and girls.
Yes.